The fluorescent lights of Sterling and Associates hummed their usual monotonous tune. But tonight, something was different. Sarah Chen sat alone in the corner office. The city's glittering skyline stretched behind her like a canvas of broken promises. Her fingers drummed against the mahogany desk, a nervous habit she'd developed over 5 years of climbing the corporate ladder. The chess set before her gleamed under the ambient lighting, each piece perfectly positioned, waiting. She'd posted the challenge on the company's internal social media an hour ago, never imagining it would explode beyond the office walls. Now her phone buzzed relentlessly with notifications. The video had leaked. Somehow, someone had screen-recorded her challenge and posted it everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. The algorithm gods had smiled upon her reckless moment of vulnerability, and now millions were watching. "Beat me in chess, I'll kiss you," she'd said into the camera, her voice steady despite the wine courage flowing through her veins. It was supposed to be a joke, a playful jab at the office know-it-alls who constantly mansplained strategy meetings to her. But the internet doesn't understand jokes. The internet understands spectacle, and Sarah had just given them front-row seats to what could be either her greatest triumph or most humiliating defeat. The door opened. Of course it was him. Marcus Webb, the company's golden boy, walked in with that insufferable confidence that made her want to both slap him and study him in equal measure. He'd joined the firm 6 months ago, and in that time, he'd managed to close deals she'd been chasing for years, charm clients she'd spent months cultivating, and somehow, inexplicably, make her heart race every time he challenged her in meetings. She hated that. She hated that he was good. She hated that he knew he was good. Most of all, she hated that despite all of this, she'd been thinking about him when she made that stupid video. "So," Marcus said, loosening his tie as he approached the desk, "I hear you're offering kisses for chess victories now. That's a new corporate incentive program." His smile was infuriating. Sarah felt her cheeks flush, grateful for the dim lighting. She'd expected someone else, anyone else. The intern who played in the park on weekends, Dave from accounting who had a chess trophy on his desk. Not Marcus, never Marcus, because losing to him would mean something. Winning against him would mean even more. "The challenge stands," Sarah said, gesturing to the chair across from her. "Unless you're scared." It was childish, but she didn't care. Let him think she was joking. Let him think this was all some viral marketing stunt for the company. Let him think anything except the truth, which was that she'd been looking for an excuse to break through the professional wall between them for months, and her wine-addled brain had decided chess and viral humiliation were the keys. Marcus sat down, his eyes never leaving hers. "I'm not scared of losing," he said quietly. "I'm scared of winning." The words hung between them like smoke, heavy with implication. Sarah's breath caught. This was supposed to be simple, a game, a challenge, a moment of internet fame that would blow over by Monday morning. But the way Marcus looked at the chessboard, then back at her, suggested he understood something she'd been trying to ignore. This wasn't about chess. It had never been about chess. "White or black?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "You choose." Marcus reached for the white pieces. Ladies first would be patronizing, wouldn't it? Sarah almost smiled. He was right. She hated when men let her win, hated the false courtesy that undermined every victory. "White it is," she said, moving her pawn to e4. The king's pawn opening. Classic, aggressive, exactly what he'd expect from her. Marcus responded with e5. The game had begun. Outside the window, the city breathed its Saturday night. Symphony. Somewhere, in apartments and coffee shops and dimly lit bars, people were watching. The video had over 2 million views now. Sarah knew because she'd checked 3 times before Marcus arrived. Comments flooded in. "This is the content we need. Shoot your shot, queen. If he doesn't win, I volunteer as tribute." The internet had turned her moment of weakness into entertainment, and now she was performing whether she wanted to or not. But as the game progressed, the outside world faded. Marcus played beautifully, each move deliberate and surprising. He wasn't just good. He was exceptional. Sarah felt her competitive fire ignite. The same fire that had driven her through law school, through the bar exam, through every negotiation and late night and impossible deadline. She developed her knights, controlled the center, built a fortress of pawns that should have been impenetrable. Marcus dismantled it piece by piece, not with brute force, but with elegance, like he was conducting a symphony rather than playing a game. "You're better than I expected," Sarah admitted, capturing his bishop with her rook. "You're exactly as good as I expected," Marcus replied, and something in his tone made her look up. His expression had changed. The playful arrogance was gone, replaced by something raw and honest. "I've been wanting to talk to you for months, Sarah. Really talk to you. Not about deals or clients or quarterly projections. But every time I tried, you'd pivot to work. You'd build walls faster than I could find doors. So when I saw your video, I thought maybe, just maybe, you were building a bridge instead." Sarah's hand froze over her queen. The game suddenly felt insignificant compared to the conversation happening above the board. "Why chess?" she asked. "Why not just ask me to coffee like a normal person?" Marcus moved his knight, putting her king in check. "Because you would have said no. You would have given me some excuse about deadlines or professionalism. Or how workplace relationships complicate everything. But this game, this ridiculous viral challenge, it gave me an excuse to sit across from you and see if the woman who makes those brilliant arguments in meetings is the same woman who plays chess like she's waging war." Sarah moved her king to safety, her mind racing faster than the board allowed. He was right. She would have said no. She'd been saying no to herself for 6 months, convincing herself that the flutter in her stomach during strategy sessions was just respect for a worthy opponent, that the way she noticed his hands during presentations was purely professional observation. The chess game was an escape hatch from her own defenses, and Marcus had seen it before she had. "Your move," she said, because she didn't know what else to say. The game continued. Pieces disappeared from the board. Sarah's careful plans crumbled against Marcus's intuitive play. He wasn't following textbook strategies. He was playing her, reading her tendencies, anticipating her attacks before she launched them. It was intimate in a way she hadn't expected. Each move a conversation, each capture a confession. She was losing. She could feel it in the position, in the way her pieces had nowhere to go while his dominated the board. "You know what's funny?" Marcus said, advancing his rook. "I don't actually want to win." Sarah looked up sharply. "That's not how games work. You play to win." Marcus shook his head. "I play to play. The game is the point, not the result. And this game, right now, with you, it's the best game I've played in years, because it matters, because you matter. And if I win, I get a kiss, sure, but then what? The game ends. The moment ends. And we go back to being colleagues who pretend that something didn't shift between us tonight." Sarah felt tears threatening at the corners of her eyes. When had she become this person? When had winning become so important that she forgot why she was playing in the first place? She looked at the board, at the inevitable checkmate looming 3 moves away, and made a decision. She moved her king deliberately into danger, an illegal move that forfeited the game. "Then I lose," she said. "Not because you beat me, but because I choose to." Marcus stared at the board, then at her. "Sarah, that's not—" "I know the rules," she interrupted. "I also know that some rules are worth breaking. You wanted a real conversation? Here it is. I've been terrified of you since the day you walked into this office. Not because you're good at your job, but because you make me want things I convinced myself I didn't have time for. Connection, vulnerability, someone who sees me as more than a winning streak in a pencil skirt. So, congratulations, Marcus. You won, not the game. Something better." The office was silent except for their breathing and the distant hum of the city below. Marcus stood slowly, walking around the desk. He knelt beside her chair, eye level now, all pretense gone. "For the record," he said softly, "you're terrifying too. The good kind. The kind that makes me want to be better at everything, including chess and honesty and figuring out how to make you smile like you mean it." He reached up, his hand gentle against her cheek. "May I?" Sarah nodded, not trusting her voice. The kiss was nothing like she'd imagined. It wasn't triumphant or dramatic or viral-worthy. It was quiet and real, and tasted like coffee and possibility. When they pulled apart, Sarah's phone was exploding with notifications. Someone in the building had been filming through the glass walls. Of course they had. The internet never sleeps, and neither does office gossip. "We're going to be memes by morning," Sarah whispered. Marcus laughed, resting his forehead against hers. "Worth it." And somehow, surrounded by chess pieces and city lights and the wreckage of her carefully constructed, professional walls, Sarah agreed.